Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing the Chevy Equinox EV with all-wheel drive. We're going to see if this is truly a Tesla destroyer, whatever you want to call it. Before we get to this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with this Equinox. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So when it comes to the EV specs, we have an 85 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a dual electric motor setup. 285 miles of electric driving range with this model, and then we have 288 horsepower and then 333 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the front end, I think the whole light design here at the Equinox looks really sharp, and I think in general it's just a better looking SUV than the Blazer EV, which is kind of like its sibling vehicle. I've got the cool light bar there. We've got the Chevy logo as well. It's a little RS badge there off to the side. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you think, but I think it's pretty cool looking. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 275 by 40 by 21 in the front and over in the rear. You can see here with the wheels completely blacked out. Same thing with the fender flare. You got the cool Equinox EV badge, pop-out door handles as well. And then notice how you've got this cool kind of like two-tone design with the black roof and then the silver bottom section. And this leads us to the key fob, if it'll focus. There we go, Chevy logo. We're gonna lock and unlock function, remote start. We got the opening for the hatch as well. Now taking a look at the cargo area, you can see it's quite spacious here in the back. And if we pick this up, a little bit more storage underneath as well. So solid for an electric crossover. Press that and that will lower the hatch right back down. Here's a quick look at the taillights, and you can see the RS badge, the Chevy badge. You got the Equinox all-wheel drive badge as well. Lots of badging, right? It's kind of interesting with the stuff on the plate. But yeah, this is really good looking, I think, for an EV. Definitely better looking than the Model Y, which a lot of people will compare this to. I think it's even better looking than the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Now taking a look at the door panel in the rear, you can see you've got like this soft touch trim here. This is kind of cool with that. And these seats are interesting in the RS version here of the Equinox. It's got lots of different colors happening. Legroom's pretty good. It's easy to get in. Storage pocket, some vents here in the back. And then headroom, it's not massive, but it's pretty decent. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you can see soft touch here and down below, and this is kind of cool with the effect they have going on there. All of our window controls, mirror adjustments, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Then here's the front seat. You can see it says RS. We've got all of our trim down the center. Adjustments on the side. Look at this with a vent. It's kind of fancy looking. And then you got more soft touch on the dash. This is one of those cars where as soon as they shut the door, it's just going to turn right on. Future! Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see soft touch all around. You've got the RS logo, the red stitching, radio controls in the back, controls there for the center stack. We also have like our cruise control. It looks like actually it's got Super Cruise, which is a nice feature. Got a little regen paddle there, and then also regular stock there in the back. Then we do have a column shifter with this. Here's a quick look at the gauge cluster. I think overall it's a pretty cool looking unit. It shows you how much range you have, which is always important. Just like other modern Chevys, you can change kind of like the layout depending on what you want to see. I actually have a 360 camera with this, which is nice. It's not a huge crossover, but it's always a nice feature to have. Makes parking in tight situations a lot easier. And you know, most people that buy EVs live in cities, and so yeah, it's a nice thing to have. And then you can see here with the screen, quick response time with this. Now, just like other modern Chevys, they're putting stuff like the light controls here in the screen. So yeah, you got to use the screen for more stuff, which is interesting. Including the climate controls. For the most part, we do have some physical buttons for the climate though, down below, and then got this whole area. This is cool. This whole area. More storage down below, and then you got like this soft touch. So if you're taller and your knee hits here, it's not the most comfortable, but it's better than just hard plastic, I'd say. And we've got some cup holders here with some USBs. This is nice. Center console. Yeah, I like the design there on the trim. It's kind of cool. looking. Same thing here with the kind of like dash. And then just a regular glove box. And then no sunroof. Tons of glare, so it's kind of hard to see. But anyways, this one stickers for around $50,000 for the MSRP price. And let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Visibility of the hood, both mirrors. Throughout the rest of the rear. And we're gonna adjust this one mirror here. So, Equinox EV with all-wheel drive. I reviewed one of the front-wheel drive versions of these. It's a nice car. I wanted to get an all-wheel drive review because, let's be real here, especially here in Utah, people want all-wheel drive. They don't want front-wheel drive. I understand the with this car, the front-wheel drive for the extra range. Makes logical sense. But yeah, for certain markets, like here, doesn't make sense. Even though I see the ads where it talks about how EVs, because of their perfect power distribution, they can do better in, you know, snow and stuff with front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive compared to an all-wheel drive gas car. And the thing that's funny about that, I guess we'll go off a little side tangent before we get onto the road, is on paper that should be reality, but in the real world that doesn't really happen. It's weird how that works with EVs. Like off-road's another good example. You know, hypothetically, EVs should be the best off-roaders on the planet because of that perfect power distribution, perfect modulation with the pedal, and yet they're the worst because of how heavy they are. And I think it's kind of a similar thing in the snow and everything. I'm not saying they do bad, but I think the extra weight, I think it's a big downside, if you ask me. And also, I don't know where this traffic came from, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. There we go. Okay. Stay in demo mode. Let's pop over the drive modes tab. So we're just in normal right now. I'll pop into sport in a little bit. This ain't bad. It's very smooth. It's a nice drive. I feel like it sits super low in the car. It's one thing I do like about EVs. Okay, so like this, you guys probably heard that. Because this is heavier than a traditional crossover, as I was saying, because this is a heavier car with a lower center of gravity, you don't feel the bumps as much, but you do have to, that system's like freaking out way too early. Anyways, you do have to deal with more weight. You do have to deal with that problem. That was weird. That system was like super early finicky. Ah, the Tesla Cyber Yuck. That's what I call them. Tesla Cyber Yuck. Because they're so ugly. Yeah, so far it drives pretty well. Okay, going over the train tracks, I think this will be another good example of, yeah, the suspension. These EVs. Yeah, heavier vehicle. Okay, punch it. Not too bad. Again, it's not massive power figures with this. But because it is electric, instant power, instant torque. Right off the bat. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. So, let's sum things up. I think this looks great. I like it more than a Model Y in terms of looks. It doesn't have a front trunk, which is kind of annoying, but not a deal breaker for me if I was going to buy a car. Range is pretty good. Price point for the features is reasonable for an EV. Solid offering. Now, we all know the EV market's shrinking right now. People say it's growing. It's growing in the sense of the car market's going to be bigger this year than last year. But it's shrinking in the sense of market share. Right? There's not going to be, you know, we'll see what the numbers end up at the end of the year, but it looks like there's going to be less EVs market share wise than we had last year. So I think stuff like this is real bad news for Tesla, because regardless of what this is, Tesla's, you know, it looks like they're going to sell fewer cars because there's just fewer people looking at EVs. But now there's good competition for Tesla. And so it's not like, well, I'm going to buy an EV, so I'm going to buy it. Wasn't even, I'm going to buy an EV, so let me look. It's like, I'm going to buy a Tesla, right? That's all that regen paddle's weird. I'm using the paddle right now. It's weird. But yeah, now you've got stuff like this that I would say is as good, if not better, than Tesla in a lot of ways. And so it's like Tesla's going to lose market share because the EV market's going to become smaller over the next little bit, it looks like. And then they're going to lose market share because people are not going to buy Tesla. Because there's some people that just won't buy Tesla. And now that there's other vehicles in the market that compete well with Tesla, yeah, they're going to jump ship. So let me know what you guys think about the Equinox EV. But I think this and the overall market conditions spell bad news for Tesla.